1. So this happened Friday afternoon, starting about 2:30 p.m. and ending around 4:30, which isn't a super long time to have issues, but it still wasn't great. I work at a hardware store as a cashier, and on Friday I was by myself on the lumber end of the store at what are called the Pro registers, due to being located next to the Pro desk and being frequented by contractors, aka the pros. About 2:30, I noticed there was some significant slowing down of the register processing card transactions. We've recently gotten new, in quotes, because everything my store gets is refurbished and or hand-me-downs from other stores who were lucky enough to get brand new equipment, pin pads, which while still buggy were significantly more usable than the old ones, which had a bad tendency to only work perfectly for maybe 25% of the transactions. One of the big improvements, other than being fairly certain that, no, it really is the customer's chip being broken, and not a 50-50 toss-up of the pin pad just not working to read chips again, was that they were significantly faster at processing transactions. Also, when searching for items on the online cashier book, system that's supposed to list items from the store and have a function to search things from if they don't have a barcode, but has the worst search functionality I have ever seen, aka the OCB, was running even slower than usual and giving me more connection errors than typical. Then the lone Pro desk worker started having issues with his phone. In the middle of a call with the customer, the line started breaking up, so he tried to move the call to the other phone at the desk, only for the phone to decide to reboot itself the second he lifted the receiver from the cradle. All else failing, he ended up calling the guy back on his personal phone and kept dealing with weird issues with the phones for another 30 minutes. At 3, I get sent on my break and notice that the store Wi-Fi has gone from slow but mostly functional to completely usable, and now people are having issues with the time lock, saying it's not connected to the network when they try to clock in or out. Well, this is going steadily downhill. Get back from break and continue checking out sparse customers. Now, customers who try to pay with a card are getting declined. First guy ran his card a second time, and it went through, but the next couple of people to try couldn't get it to work at all, so I sent them to self-checkout in the hopes it was just my register having weird issues. Next thing I do is try to call my head cashier to see if they're having issues on his end of the store. Oh, would you look at that, phones are now completely down, and nobody can contact each other anywhere in the store. And now a customer is trying to call the non-functional phones, which rerouted the call to the overhead PA system, and it's endlessly ringing. Yay! So as I'm seeing customers down to the other end of the store, saying my register isn't working, I'm trying to get a hold of anybody to see if they can tell me what's going on, so I text my supervisor's personal phone, hoping he sees it quickly. Again, no luck, and it takes 15+ minutes and several more customers before I finally hear back from somebody over the walkie-talkies we use for our lot loaders. And they inform me that yeah, all the phones are down, which took down the internet. Or the other way around, possibly. All I know is one going down took out the other, which then took out our ability to process card transactions. They're now trying to inform an assistant manager, again no in-store phones are working, so can't tell him directly, and nobody is sure where he was at first, to see if he could figure out what was going on. So then I get the joy of informing customers coming in that our system can't currently take cards, which means cash only. We can't currently look up, process, or release any online orders, and we can't get hold of anybody that isn't within shouting distance. Luckily, we're not very busy, or at least on my end of the store, but the first customer I get who came in before we started having the issues seems to take it personal that something went wrong with our system, and that I can't take his debit card payment. I apologize, but he just goes on a rant about how he needs all of this right now, and we should know when our system will be back up. Yeah, sure, I've totally got clairvoyance. And how it was possible that it all went down, blah, blah, blah. Can't he leave this on hold with us, and we call him when the system comes back up? Nope, sorry. We only do will calls for items that have been paid for. We don't hold unpaid items because they take up space we don't have. And anyway, I highly doubt the will call system is even currently functional at the moment, since nothing else is currently working. By the time this guy's done ranting at me, he decides to add more items to his order, which is already well over a couple hundred in cash he had on him, and then informs me that we're going to become friends, because he's going to stand there in front of me until the system comes back up. 4:30 hits, and it's time for my lunch, and another cashier comes down saying that they've had luck running debit cards as credit, and to try that, which I suggest to my customer to get him out of my face. He completely ignores my instructions to run it as credit, and puts in his PIN, but by some miracle the transaction went through. I get a hold of Lumber to get the guy the rest of his stuff, listen to him bitch about a couple more things, and make my escape to get lunch. By about 5, everything got fixed again, and we didn't have to continue to listen to customers whine about a technical issue we had no control over. But it was a long 2.5 hours of dealing with weird slowdowns, and then a complete system crash. Later heard from another co-worker who came in after everything was over that it was possibly a widespread issue, since he stopped at another store before he came in, and they said they were also having internet problems. Also, another cashier said a customer said they lived in a nearby neighborhood where everyone also lost internet, so who knows. But you gotta love the customers who think we personally made our system crash just to cause them issues. Because we definitely love hearing them whine and complain about it, and the company definitely wants to lose money intentionally just to cause some grief. 2. A little backstory that plays heavily into this. I am remodeling my home, which was built in 1902. Every time I pull plaster off to get to the studs underneath, I get showered in rotting wood and insulation. You know, really black dust? Above my windows are old wasps' nests, or so I thought. Well, I'm thoroughly covered in dust, and I'm cleaning and tearing these old wasps' nests out of the walls. To my astonishment, there are about 30 wasps that come out at me, since I'm attacking their home. So I quickly make a beeline out of the room, pun intended, and block the undersides of the doors with towels to prevent them from escaping into the rest of the house. I call my brother, where he agrees to come over and help. He tells me to meet him at Wally World. It will be about 15 minutes. Perfect. We will go together, grab Raid and whatever else we need to plug the holes that the wasps have entered through. I should have showered before I left, but I didn't. So I drive to Walmart, and my brother tells me to meet him in the food section, as he needed to get some mac and cheese for dinner tonight when he heads home. So I walk into Walmart completely covered from head to toe in dirt, torn up jeans, and my favorite Rocket Raccoon shirt that has seen much better days. I get a few strange looks from customers that see me and don't approve of my look. Like I honestly care, as I'm fighting a war with bugs that have swords for tails. I see my brother in the box dinner aisle and walk up to him. We start talking about how the rest of the remodel is going, while he is looking at all the quick options for food. When all of a sudden we hear the dreaded call of a wild Karen. At first it was, ahem, then a louder, ahem, followed by, excuse me. I should have started by saying my brother's choice of dress attire is only matched by my choice of not showering before going. He is wearing a navy blue top followed by black jeans. Enter the Karen. Are you gonna stop helping this homeless person and start helping a paying customer? My brother is not one for wasting his time with someone who isn't polite, so he blows her off. Again, she starts with, excuse me, did you hear me? My brother is starting to get irritated, but not wanting to disrespect someone, says as politely as he can, I'm sorry, but I don't work here. She states, yes you do, I see you helping this homeless man. Now, why don't you help an actual paying customer? I need blah, blah, blah. Some item she can't find. Well, I, who at this point had it up to here with this lady, chime in, and I've been prepping what I would say after binge-watching videos on YouTube. Listen here, I'm not homeless and he doesn't work here. I'm not sure what part of the education system has failed you. Critical thinking must not be something you're renowned for. But my brother already told you he doesn't work here. Now walk away before you waste any more of my time. My brother and I decide it's best to just go and grab what I need and just leave. So we head over to where the insecticides live and start looking for ones that kill longer than just a spray. I pull my phone out to text my wife if we needed anything else, as I'm in where laundry detergent and dish soaps live. Lo and behold, and to my surprise, guess who shows up? It's Waste of Space Karen. She spots my phone and rips it from my hands.
You probably stole this from the display cases. I'm going to get you arrested for shoplifting, and you,
pointing at my brother,
and I'm going to get you fired for not helping a customer and then assaulting me.
Before I could cuss her out for being a complete and utter moron, she marches up to customer service. She cuts in front of what I assume to be a nice couple returning something that didn't work anymore.
I want to speak to your manager. This employee was very rude and unhelpful, and he assaulted me. He would rather help this homeless man instead of a paying customer. I want to speak to him now.
The customer service employee goes and flags down a manager, who takes one look at my brother and I, then looks up to Waste of Space Karen, and asks what is the problem.
This employee of yours is lazy, unhelpful, and when I asked for help, he told me to F off and then assaulted me.
Pointing to my brother, the manager says, he doesn't work here.
Yes, he does. He was helping this homeless man find something to eat.
No, he doesn't work here.
So now you're lying to me. Also, I caught this homeless man stealing your merchandise.
As she looks back with a victorious grin. I'll get to the bottom of this, ma'am. So the manager comes over to me and asks my side of the story. We explain to her that we're just here to grab insecticides to take care of a big wasp problem. Brother explains he was in the food section seeing what cheap options he had for a quick dinner. And during that time, Waste of Space Karen had approached us and was very rude. We then proceeded to tell her that we had left the aisle to go to the insecticides, and she followed us and ripped my phone from my hand. You can even watch the security tapes to see we're telling the truth. The manager goes back to Waste of Space Karen. I'll have to go watch the security tapes to find out what really happened. Just stay put and I'll be right back.
You don't need to do that, I'm telling you. You should fire him and call the cops on that homeless man right now, or you'll lose my business forever.
No, I need to watch the tapes before we can proceed further.
That's not necessary. I didn't need my items anyways.
She starts to walk to the exit with my phone still in hand. I yell to her, You still have my phone? If you don't return my property back to me, I'll have the manager call the cops on you. She then proceeds to toss my phone into the trash and runs out of the store. The manager asks me, Would you like to call the cops? I told her no, I just want to grab my things and phone and head home. She proceeds to let me have my raid for free, and my brother have his Kraft mac and cheese for free. Crazy people. Crazy people. 3. I work in a small kiosk in a shopping center, where we sell phone cases and accessories. It's a slow Monday morning, and I'm walking in the center side doors near my store, when I spot a wrist strap and pop socket mount on the floor. I waltz on through the door thinking, how funny it would be if we got robbed. Lo and behold, the security guard is waiting for me. My stomach drops and I start to freak because the owners of the company have a habit of being absolutely horrible to their staff when the smallest problem happens. I closed on Sunday. I thought I must have forgotten to lock something. I was sure I was losing my job today. I walk over and the security guard has a chuckle and goes,
Looks like someone had a bit of fun here.
Thanks, Buster. I run around the store, about to pull my hair out and start crying. The perpetrator has gotten to our store iPad, store phone, all the coins in the tills, and some other miscellaneous items that weren't worth much. Thankfully, he didn't get to the safe, so most of the cash was okay. First I call my boss, expecting to have my head bitten off. No answer. I call my manager. No answer. I call the other staff member who was supposed to be working today. No answer. After I send them all texts, the other staff member calls back. I'm freaking out and she's going,
Are you serious? You're kidding, right?
In the middle of the call, my boss rings me. I tell her what happened and brace for the,
You're gonna have to pay for all the losses.
But to my surprise, she told me to calm down and just write a list of everything missing. It was at this point that I was like, oh yeah, insurance is a thing. The rest of the day was mostly a blur. The stores around us all found out in no time and looked on their security cameras. We saw the thief in action. This is where I get confused. This guy was either really smart and knew what he wanted, or really dumb, and did it because he was on drugs or wanted an adrenaline rush. He started robbing the store at about 5:20 p.m., an hour and 20 minutes after the shops close on a Sunday. He was walking up and down the center, making little stops in the store each time. But that's about where his intelligence dies. He opens the tills and probably gets about $50 in coins from each one. He yoinks the store iPad, which is a very old one, and probably worth about 70 Australian dollars. The store phone was some cheap Nokia that we only recently got, probably worth $100. He gets to the spare set of keys we keep in the store, and this means he has access to everything. However, this clearly doesn't click to him. He could have stolen all our name-brand cases that are worth $40+ each. Instead, he just focused on the tills and their cabinets underneath. He took some ring-grip display stands, a medical box, and a bin full of iPad straps that come with the case we sell. He took 2 boxes full of our best-selling screen protectors, which was annoying, and then our notebooks. I don't know what this guy was thinking when he grabbed a book with flowers on it, and a note on it saying daily store tasks. Worst part of it all was because the center was technically still open, people walked past and saw the cheeky bastard stealing but did nothing. If you see something that looks sketchy, please alert security. You'll save a poor retail clerk working from a panic attack. The cops didn't do anything because there were over 1,000 break-ins over the weekend in that area. Dodgy as fuck area. And our tiny store was bottom of the priority list, which was not surprising. The store itself was not very secure, as it's very much due for renovations. The guy broke through most of our cabinets and barely even used the keys. In the end, I think this guy got maybe $300 worth of items, and a bunch of retail workers laughing at him. 4. I'm a disabled, overweight, and scarily ugly-looking woman. I'm into wood art and generally doing DIY at my home in Scotland. I'm also a British Army veteran. Due to a back injury I sustained in the military, I can't walk more than a few meters, so I get around on a mobility scooter, complete with Armed Forces veteran stickers on it front and back. I'm proud to have served. My local-ish big box DIY store famously wears orange. I go fairly often enough that I know where many things are. Dressed in jeans, a floral print top, and slip-on shoes. No orange anywhere. I was down the electrical supplies aisle, looking for just the right light switches and sockets for the remodel I am doing in my long hallway at home. I pick one up every now and then to match with the color swatch I have brought with me to see how they look. Most of them I put directly on the hook I picked it out from, and the others go in the basket on the footplate of my scooter. Also in the aisle is an old man. I'd say he's probably in his 80s. He is looking at the shelves, but seemingly rather confused. Being nice, I ask him if he's okay. That's mistake number 1. He tells me he's looking for an adapter so he can plug in his electric toothbrush to charge. I know exactly what he needs, and show him exactly where they are. Mistake number 2. He smiles and gives me a grateful, "Thank you," and off he goes happily with his adapter in hand to the tills. I feel good. I've helped someone out. So I go back to my own shopping, or at least I try to.
Excuse me.
I turn around and see a young man with a handful of different switches.
Which one of these should I use for an internal switch for an electrical light?
I look as I'm feeling chuffed with being able to help. Mistake number 3. I point to the one that has a light on it so you can see when the switch is on. I'd probably use that one, so you know if the light is on or off, so you can see the light itself. He smiles happily, dumps all the other switches on a shelf, and starts looking at other items on the shelves. So I go back to my own shopping, or at least I try to. Again. Enter Karen.
Excuse me.
Mistake 4. Yes, I reply.
Where do I find stuff to put on walls to fix a hole?
It's down the other end of the store, somewhere near the painting supplies, somewhere near the tills.
Yes, but where? And which shelf?
Not sure, just take a look down there. A member of staff might be able to help better.
I need you to show me.
Sorry, just look down there. I'm about to pay for my shopping.
But you need to show me. I don't know the right stuff.
Look down there. There's a big banner by the right aisle. There may be someone who works here.
But you work here. It's your job to help customers. Show me where it is and what I need.
I'm getting annoyed now. It's not my job. I don't work here. Am I wearing an orange apron? Ask someone wearing an orange apron. They will help you. I start trying to roll my scooter towards the tills. Karen is faster than a speeding bullet, steps directly in my path only an inch or two in front of me. Now, these scooters are heavy and solid, and won't take damage from hitting an ankle. There was absolutely nothing I could do to stop quickly enough. Karen shrieks,
You hit my leg! You tried to run me down! Oh!
and the tears flow. Her shriek alerted a couple of staff members who come running.
She ran me down. I want the manager. I want the police. I want an ambulance. I want her fired and arrested.
Then a mature-looking man in a suit, with a large orange badge with his name and the word manager on it, comes running up. Also alerted by the shriek and shouting, he, the manager, asks what happened.
Your assistant in the lazy cripple chair
Yes, really.
tried to kill me. I want her arrested and fired, and I'll sue this store for my injuries.
What assistant? This lady doesn't work here.
Yes, she does. She tried to run me down. My ankle's probably broken.
Note, she's still standing, stomping around, shouting and generally not behaving like someone with a broken ankle. Maybe a spoiled toddler, though. She asked me where something was, I told her where to look. She got demanding and behaving like a spoiled child, and then deliberately stepped in front of me when I went to leave. No way I could stop in time.
Liar! You do work here. I saw you helping 2 other people. Him.
Pointing at the young man who stopped to watch the commotion. Yes, I helped out of the goodness of my heart, because I'm a nice person. That doesn't mean I work here.
Yeah, she was nice enough to help me. I asked her because I saw her helping out an old bloke. I knew she didn't work here.
Yeah, she doesn't. Let's go to the back office to talk about this. Then we'll see what needs doing.
And you'll call the police and an ambulance and fire her.
So off we go to the office. Karen remembers her broken ankle and starts putting on a deliberate limp on the wrong leg, moaning all the way to the office about her broken ankle. In the office, the manager invites Karen to sit. I'm barely in the office as my scooter doesn't have the turning circle to get further in. Let's start with the CCTV and see what happened. He turns the CCTV monitor around so we can all see it. He presses some buttons and runs the video back to where I ride into the aisle. I'm seen looking at products. I'm seen talking to the old man. I'm seen taking him to a shelf and passing an adapter to him. I'm seen talking to the young man and pointing at a product in his hands. I'm seen talking to Karen and pointing down the store. She is seen looking angry, with fists clenched, talking at me. I'm seen moving off. She is seen running past me and deliberately stepping in my path, where I obviously don't have time to stop. Just so you know, I'm a retired police officer. Do you really want the police and an ambulance? Your ankle's clearly not broken and it's clear what really happened. Do you really want to get charged for wasting police time? They do that these days as the police are short of manpower, and won't thank you for calling them for what is clearly your own fault. They may even charge you with a hate crime, with what my staff and I heard. Or will you just leave the store and not come back?
But...
Really? Karen wilted. She stands, and with no sign of a limp, walks out with a member of staff escorting her meekly out. I was thanked for my patience and handed a gift card for your trouble, and so you're not put off using the store. I paid for my wares, using the gift card which covered the whole cost. Put some more credit remaining on the card for my next visit. I may not help anyone next time, though. To clarify a couple points, yep, I think I'm scarily ugly, but only physically. I know this because I have a mirror. Halloween has nothing on me. Unfortunately, I need to look at myself when I brush my hair and put my makeup on. Otherwise, I'd ban mirrors for my home. Inside, though, I think I have a good soul. I'm not always perfect, not always kind. I've learned that sometimes kindness needs to be tempered with a reality strike or unhappy truth. And certainly not always right. I do try to be decent to people, though. Just don't mistake my kindness as weakness. Also, in reality, I will still be helpful where I can, if the person asking for help is respectful, polite, and deserving of kindness. I'm naturally a nice person, in my humble opinion. I've tried acting nasty, but my friends always laugh at me. I'm not very good at it. I'll stick to being the genuine me. 5. So this was a few years ago when I was still a cashier at a certain blue-themed department store. We offered a no taxes discount on applicable items to those with a native status card. And to apply this, they needed to present the card at the beginning of the order. We would check it for validity, and the order could begin. One fatty day a couple comes through, maybe mid to late 30s, and they have a medium-sized order, which I process with no problems. No indication of what is to come until I tell them their total. The man says they have a status card, and I tell him that unfortunately, they would have needed to declare it at the beginning of the order for me to apply the discount. The woman starts insisting that we can do it for her, that we've done it before, etc. I call the customer service manager, equivalent of a front-end supervisor, over, explain the situation, and ask if there's anything we can do. I still want to help the customer at this point, even if she's been a little rude. The customer service manager explains that short of erasing the order and scanning it again, this time with the discount in place, there's nothing to be done. The woman chooses that, and while the customer service manager is erasing the order, I say in an apologetic tone, "Sorry, this is why we need you to show the card at the beginning of the order." By which I meant that it would take even longer for them to be able to leave. Admittedly, this was not the best thing I could have said at the time, but she snapped at me, and this is not an exact quote, but the gist of what she actually said. "I knew that you could do it, so don't be stupid." I said something else, I think something to the effect of, "Please don't call me that, ma'am." To which she replied even more venomously, and although I don't remember the first part of her sentence, I'll never forget the second part. "Maybe it's time for you to shut up." I have never been told to shut up by a customer before. I'd had my fair share of rude customers before, to be sure, and even been sworn at and had my intelligence insulted, but for some reason being told to shut up like that was the tipping point, because I did shut up, and after they were gone, the man whose order was next asked if I was all right, and all I could do was ask another CSM if I could go to the bathroom, where I promptly burst into tears. When I came out, obviously still quite upset, but not crying anymore, the front-end manager told me to take my lunch early. When I came back is when this story takes a turn. Apparently the manager and yet another CSM had been standing at the front doors, watching for this couple to drive by, and when they saw them, the front-end manager actually ran after their car, and when he managed to stop them, went off on them about how they treated me, and proceeded to ban them from the store. I hadn't particularly gotten along with my manager before then. He's harmless, just very outgoing and a slightly odd personality. But this incident instilled me with a newfound respect for him, and a stiffer upper lip around customers. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail, number 110. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Right, when's this going? This goes up on Thursday. I think that's when we're putting this one up. Unless I put it up on another day. Let's say Thursday. Okay, there we go. Decided. It's going up on Thursday. Okay, so that'll be Thursday, the 5th of November. Oh, we're in the thick of the fireworks now. That's when they'll be at their worst. And of course it will go on till right after New Year. Well, I might spend a little bit of time this week though. It's probably about time I start getting like treats and things in that I'd usually get for Christmas. Like a couple of cases of sodas I can't always get because they're imports. Just to make sure I get them in time for Christmas. Yeah, I think I might start doing that. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.